Our hearts melt when word came that the big top coach, Stephen Francis, have stage 4 cancer. Oh God, no. Oh no. Oh, not Stephen Francis. And his club, MVP Club, has since released a statement. In the statement, they didn't deny that he had cancer. Them say it's an infection. But I understand that a mass was found on his kidney. I hear it is his kidney. And all who don't know who Stephen Francis is, Stephen Francis is the greatest track coach who ever lived. The best track coach God ever make. Stephen Francis is a national treasure. Oh God, I'm going to pray for him. Go and pray for Stephen Francis. We cannot afford to lose a man like this. I am going to go into it for now. And I couldn't know how to go on with Stephen Francis.
My strength is surely failing as trials come both left and right. In the center, I'm now standing, not a trace of hope in sight. And if tears are only raindrops, the universe would be flooding now. So Lord, I call you today. Please don't pass me by. Hold my hand today, lest I fall.
And before I proceed and go into the details, we don't know, I stopped to show you that ship to shore of a 5-time-a-week express service from America and once every week from China. So anything you buy a foreign America or China, you use ship to shore to bring it in and you get all 1 month free, no storage fee. See that? Not a storage fee you don't have to pay when you use ship to shore. And the next good thing about ship to shore is that your first package is free. And them treat you better when you tell them say 119 say no. Just call me name. Yes, sir. And ship to shore has offices in every single parish in Jamaica. So I'm going to put a link to them in the comment section of this video. Alright, you go and go look them up. SHIP to SURE.
Guide my steps on the way. Please hear my call for the cares of life. So,
you know, before I get into what is going on with Stephen Francis, I just want to say that I have a lot of ratings for him. He's not someone I know personally, but I've seen him from time to time. We cross paths. But I have a lot of ratings for him. And the reason why I have a lot of ratings for Stephen Francis is because whenever we cross paths, oh my, he has a taste for girls. His girls are so very pretty, young and pretty little damsels, sexy, gorgeous girls. I hope none of them sick him. hope I don't know none of them sick, Stephen. Because you know, women come with a lot of pressure. Money problem and this a problem. Though Stephen have money still, but he must have some pretty girl there. And you know, there's nothing physically attractive about Stephen Francis. Stephen Francis is one big in this big big belly big like a pazzo. He's quite an ugly fellow, to be honest with you. Quite an ugly fellow. But when you have money, you get all the girls, the prettiest a girl. You could have ugly like 10 jumbi. Girl, I run down see me. Come here, tell us, man. Me personally take me eye them and see me, no, man. Every time I see me now, I want next pretty beauty, another beautiful, gorgeous young thing on him hand. I wonder if I wonder if none of them go to the hospital go look for him yet. Cause you don't know woman tan, you know. And then come and suck you dry. And nothing do you, then turn them back by you. But it is very, very sad news. Very sad news to hear that somebody so special like Stephen Francis. Anybody can see, but oh boy, not Stephen Francis, man. No, man, too much things depend on him. Stephen Francis has brought so much pride to Jamaica and Jamaicans. The top athlete, the whole of the top athlete, them, as Stephen responsible for them. Stephen have this ability to take an athlete to have a little bit of talent and just make them into a super talent. The man is magical. He's so very magical. And so, when me hear say, he have stage 4 cancer, me heart drop out of my mouth, so boop. Me heart drop a grung, man. Me a tell a man. Me a say, really no. Oh boy. But I'm going to examine the issue for now and show now what I go on with Stephen. And so me go do a little digging, cause me want to know what really are going on. And a whole lot of people out there want to know what is happening with Stephen Francis, because it's very important. Me can't say it very enough. The amount of important, it's important. So, there is word come to me. Then come whisper in my 2 ears them. Say, Stephen Francis have a mass in his kidney. And me want to investigate the matter. So, me then whisper in my ears again. And I tell me, say, Stephen Francis, I do dialysis. And for all those who don't know what dialysis is when they have to take out the blood out of you and clean it. Because the function of the kidney is to clean your blood. But if your kidney not working, then they have machines, dialysis machines. We take your blood, clean it, and put it back in your body. All right. So, me I go good on in it phone right now, you saw, man. Because this important bad. It says, a mass in the kidney means there is an abnormal area or growth in the kidney that has been seen on an imaging test, such as an ultrasound, CT scan, or MRI. A kidney mass is not automatically cancer, and that is important. But it can be cancer as well. So don't stick around, man. Stick up in, man. You don't know 119 no ordinary, don't? Me I go tell you no. Me I go show you no. Me I go tell you no. Me I go show you no what really are going on. So it says many kidney masses are benign, meaning they're not cancerous, while others are malignant, meaning they're cancerous. So it can be cancer. Common causes include simple kidney cysts. That are the cause for the mass in your kidney. These are fluid-filled sacs and are very common, especially as people get older. They are usually harmless and often require no treatment. So I know that do Steve Francis because I'm in a hospital, so I know that do him. Complex kidney cysts. These have thicker walls, partitions, or solid areas depending on their appearance. They may need further evaluation because some can be cancerous. Well, I know that the Stephen Knight. I'm going to show you something. Just hold on a little bit, man. Hold on, man. I get into it, man. I get into it. Benign tumors. Examples include angiomyolopamas. Hey, who no mind, don't make me cuss bad, yeah? Made up of blood vessels, muscle, and fat. And oncocytomos. Backside, well. These are not cancer, but may require monitoring or treatment if they become large or cause symptoms. All right, see the danger, you know? These are the danger, see? I'm going to show you why me suspect say at this I go on with Stephen Francis. Because you know, me come with receipt, you know, me back up what me have to say, you know, and show you know. All right, kidney cancer. In fact, it says here, the most common type in adults is renal cell carcinoma. Early kidney cancer often causes no symptoms. So you have it, I don't know say you have it. And is found by chance during imaging for another reason. So imaging does mean X-ray, whether MRI or any type of X-ray. All right, see the next thing I know, because them I say is an infection, Steve the official statement put out says an infection him have. Them not tell you which part the infection there. But the whisperings in my ears hole tell me say the kidney. And it also tell me say I get the dialysis. I soon go into that. I soon tell you why he would be getting dialysis. See? So see that infections or abscesses. These can sometimes appear as a mass on imaging. Right? So it's a many kidney masses cause no symptom. If symptoms occur, they may include blood in the urine. So I don't know if Stephen did a pee and some blood that come out. Pain in the side or lower back. A lump in the abdomen or flank, unexplained weight loss, fever or fatigue. Oh boy. So I now go looking at them sitting there, oh doctor, this and that. I don't want to get bored of me, you know. Now this is the very, very interesting part, yes or no? This is the very interesting part. Because the official statement said that he has an infection. That infection, from all indications, is in a kidney. But from all indications also, he might do dialysis. No. If he might do dialysis, it's not an infection. I'm going to show you. So me ask, does kidney infection of the kidney requires dialysis? And it says usually no. Want to see that? No. So if it was an infection, he wouldn't be doing dialysis. It says a kidney infection by itself does not require dialysis. A kidney infection, also called pyelonephritis, well, I'm going to make me cuss today, is typically treated with antibiotics, fluids, and sometimes hospitalization if the infection is severe. All right, see it now? If I really this I go out with Steve, you know, because he look like it. A serious something to him. Oh God, Jesus, boy, I tell you. I don't even like think about it. God no. Oh boy, every minute of somebody else, see man. It says It says here, dialysis is only needed if the infection causes severe acute kidney injury and the kidneys temporarily cannot do their job. But he said this is uncommon. Seeing? It says in many cases, if dialysis is needed because of a severe infection, it is temporary. As the infection is treated and the kidneys recover, dialysis can often be stopped. If the kidneys have suffered permanent damage, longer-term dialysis may be necessary, but that is much less common. So if it's simply an infection, right? If it's simply an infection, you don't really need no dialysis, usually. No. And even if you have to get dialysis, it will be very temporary. Because infection is something we hard to get rid of. So I don't know about antibiotics, and them have some very strong antibiotics will get rid of infection. So I don't know about this infection argument. No, sir. I don't buy that. Frano, I hope that I am incorrect about what I am saying. I hope not no go so. Truly. I'm inviting everybody to send up prayers for Stephen Francis. Jamaica needs Stephen Frano Francis. He's a man, you know. He's a man whom I respect highly. Why I respect him highly? Because he's a man who speaks his mind, come what may. Those are the persons who respect his due to. Stephen Francis no means words. You either love him or hate him. I mean, I want this to sound like a... I don't want this to sound like in Ghana, you know. But Stephen Francis is a super human being. He's not ordinary. Sometimes you see these people, you know, come like, if you say them invincible, it's like, you know, think about, say, boy, one day they won't be here with us again, you know, somebody like a Stephen Francis, you know. We don't treasure these type of people. We don't treasure him. We don't treasure him enough. I don't think so. He has got national award, I think, or two. One or two, I'm not sure. But we don't treasure somebody like him enough, you know. God no. We don't know what the man achieve, man. We don't know what that man achieve. Oh, my. And come to think of it, you know that he wasn't a coach. You know, when he started coaching, he was not a coach. You know, his brother was the coach, and brother did the coach, you know. And his brother just tell him, say, come down high school, man, at even time. And he just start go down high school at even time and start helping brother coach. And he start read up on things and do him one thing. But he's very bright. I true he's so bright. He go down there. He start helping brother. And in no time he catch on. And he no bother because he have a degree now. He just dash with that the degree there and go and coach. And it's amazing. May I tell us that the people, a lot of highly accomplished people, them now have no formal education. Them now have no training, because Stephen Francis does have formal education. He has a degree in finance, right? But the man's story is so amazing.
My background was a lot different from most coaches who were practicing at the time. You know, I never went to JC Foster, never did physical education, was never formally trained in the sport, but rather came to the sport from a more academic background outside of physical education and sports science. And so, you know, I remember up to the point when it took me something like 15 years of constantly winning medals and events at champs and so on to even be selected as a coach for a junior team. You know, so when we started doing this, the reaction was predictably negative, and I remember hearing comments like you're trying to mash up people's children and Athletes who we were coaching were told to don't waste the time, go abroad. Even though at the time there was nobody who we had at the start who anybody wanted. None of the we were careful to select or invite those kids, apart from those people who I trained at Wolmer's, those kids who did not have the opportunity to go overseas, because we knew that we could not compete with the colleges in the United States. So even though those kids were not really in great demand, they were still told, a number of them were still told by the federation, that it was a bad decision, leave, and in addition, they were paid to leave, or they were paid to try to leave. I remember the federation using this IAF funding thing in terms of I can't remember what it's called. It's now located up at UA High Performance Center to take the top athletes who I had. They were promised funding by the High Performance so long as they didn't train with me. So we had to go through a lot of that stuff. But I am always and have always been a firm believer that performances in this sport is what counts. That is what I love about the sport. There is not a lot of room for subjectivity. It's usually very objective, and you're as good as the results that you manage to generate. So, almost immediately we had success with Bridget Foster, who everybody thought was a waste of time, and she was too pretty, and she should find a husband, and all those things were said about her. I remember once she went to the SDF for funding. At the time, I think SDF had just started, and she was pretty much told that go find yourself a husband, right, or to go be a model, but as I said, her success came at a critical time, which allowed us to move forward, and then Asafa and Jermaine quickly after, and that managed to launch to set the foundation for us to produce the kind of results down the road that you see, that we have seen over the years.
A lot of persons doubted us. A lot of persons didn't believe that you could stay in Jamaica and train and do well. And Frano was the brainchild behind just staying home, and I trusted in him, and it's working out. So that within itself was like a major accomplishment.
I was bitten by the coaching bug during my first year at UA. I had left Wolmer's, was was in the, it was called the Management Studies Department at the time. And my brother was still at Wolmer's, and he was one of the favorites at Champs in the discus. And at the time, Wolmer's program was very, very bad, and he didn't have a coach, so he asked me if I could come to help him out. And I said fine, and so I would go down to Wolmer's in the evenings after classes. And that stint, I was also working with him and another guy by the name of Michael McFarlane, who both went to Champs, and one was in class 2 and the other class 1. And the results were very, very promising, and so that is when I had coached for the first time, and I became hooked by the coaching and by the attractiveness of getting good results. So it was while I was at UA. So after I completed the degree, each year I had become more and more involved in coaching, and instead of going directly to the private sector to work or to go abroad to do a master's, I began to look for an opportunity where I could coach as well as work. And so therefore I went back to Woolmer's to teach and coach. So that is where the whole coaching thing came from.
But you also did the sports competitively.
Yeah, but not very successfully. You know, while I was at school, my priority was Schools Challenge Quiz. You know, I played for 4 years, won 3 of them, and the other 4th year was in the final. We lost to the final to Monroe. So, and that at the time was very time consuming. So you could only dedicate a cursory amount of time to training for the discus. But given that I still tried because I liked it and was good at it from a Woolmer's level, you know, but not that good when it came to champs. I also have to say that you know, I was good friends with Mr. Mills, and I used to spend a lot of time around Herb McKinley. You know, I'm a very, very heavy reader. You know, I almost dislike and don't trust information that I have not read. So the minute I decided I was going to do coaching, I mean, there was no internet, there was nothing. I mean, I had to go to the libraries all around Kingston, Michael Library, UTech Library, UE Library, to try to find information on formal information on coaching track and field. And you know, but while I was doing that, of course, when I graduated from school, from the university, I was strictly a field events coach, you know, and when I went to Woolmer's, I branched out into the jumps, you know, so I was coaching the jumps and throws. And then after about 2 years of that, you know, every coach in Jamaica realizes that you're not going to get a break on a national level unless you're coaching the sprints. You know, I mean, every coach wants their athlete to be a part of the national teams. When it comes to the sprints, you don't have to win or come second. You can come up to 6th. And, you know, your athlete gets picked and so on. So it naturally moved to sprinting. And, of course, I did the requisite reading and research and so on to generate the knowledge which would help me to do well in that area. You know, so it became essentially a passion of mine, you know, because, you know, again, you know, the success began to follow at champs, you know, and at the time, athletics was almost totally about champs in Jamaica.
When you say your brother studied finance and then decided to put that aside to coach, I mean, you never like, you roll the dice, what a gamble.
It would be considered a gamble by many. It would have been considered a gamble by many. But the excellence with which he studied finance, I believe he was like top 3% in one of the top business schools in the United States. He was being recruited by many companies on Wall Street. So yes, his path could have been a whole lot more different. But it also shows what sometimes a lot of us, even as Jamaicans, don't appreciate. As parents sometimes, to put it simply, we'll have a child who is doing very well in school, very bright. And immediately, in my opinion, we get motivated or mobilized by the Jones versus Jones syndrome, where we now want that child to be looked up on in our minds by society. So we say you're going to be a doctor, or you're going to be an engineer, or you want to be a lawyer. Nobody looks at that bright child and say, I want you to be brilliant in farming, or I want you to be brilliant in cabinet making and own a chain of furniture stores. You know, because the very same brilliance could be applied very effectively towards another industry that could in effect grow your country or your community. But traditionally it's lawyer, doctor, engineer. So the fact that Vincent did so well studying finance, it gave him what is in my opinion a very strong advantage, because he's data and statistics driven, and that we have found out is extremely useful in this field that we have now selected. You know, so somebody bright, they can do anything that they apply themselves to, boss.
A number of international coaches have level 1 up to 5 qualification. I was told you have none of those.
Well, there has been one, I think, I would say, mentor I've had as a coach, and that was the late Adrian Wallace, who was president between, I believe it's 1996 to 2000. And Mr. Wallace always seemed to have been one of the very few persons in the hierarchy of the Federation who thought and appreciated what I was doing as a coach. And he said to me back in 1999, I think, late 1999, he says, Frano, you know, we're going to carry you to the Olympics. You know, you have been to 2 World Juniors, you know, and so on. And we think that you going to have a good future. We're going to carry you to the Olympics in Sydney, but you need to be qualified. So we're putting on a level 1 course, and I wanted to go and do it. So that is how I ended up doing the level 1. I have not done anything more, right? But because shortly after Sydney, I renounced coaching the Jamaica team anyway. So I love coaching the field events, I think, and because it's far more challenging intellectually. Right? It's you have to go into the most minute detail, and that's the time which me as a coach has to exercise my brain the most. However, I do love the challenge of coaching sprints. I love the idea of carrying people along with me. I mean, of them improving, you know, of them coming from nothing to stardom and so on. You know, but I will say that I have no huge preference one way or the other. You know, and to me, an athlete is an athlete. And I don't like the pole vault because I could not coach a pole vault and do all the other events. But the events I work at now are events which I can do simultaneously with each other under the current structure that I have in the training group.
You see that thing they name talent? You see that something that name talent, man? You can't go around it, you know. You cannot beat talent, you know. When God give you a talent, you know, man. Because obviously, God gave him a special talent and he loves what he does. That's why I'm not stop read. Read up on things and read because I love it. It's his passion. So, me want him get better. God know. Stephen, get better, man. Get better. Get better quick and fast, Steve. No bother with the foolishness. I don't know if you believe in God, but pray. Because enough of we don't believe in God, but when we get sick, we believe we find God. And somehow when we go to prison, we find God too. So pray, Stephen. Pray. Be a praying man. And me like how you're very entertaining, you know. Hey, the athlete them like Shelly and them are wear this long nail and hair, color hair. Stephen Francis is a foolishness. He's a fart.
They are willing to sacrifice performance for style. It's their thing, so I don't say anything. The good thing about it is that everybody is doing it, so they all have the same disadvantage. So, if you want to run with your hair slowing you down, and your nails adding off, putting on ounces on your weight, and so it's okay. Everybody's just doing it.
Boy, me I tell you. Boy, Stephen Francis is not an easy man. You either love him or you hate him, as me saying, man. But he's gonna be who he is. And over the years, now ask if Stephen Francis, in some controversial sitting. He's a no-nonsense kind of man, obviously. And be a bangarang follow him sometime. Because that's some things where him say, oh Lordy. Like, when I time Stephen Francis say, the athlete them at Jamaica, them boring. He said them boring. Anytime I go to them with a mic, thank the Lord, I want to thank my fans about it. He would have not said it same thing like a poem. And them so boring.
Children in Jamaica are taught not to think, to be quiet when adults speak, not to look people in the eyes. Noah Lyles, who to me is better than Bolt in terms of marketing, because he has created a phenomenon about himself without the performances. Right? Noah Lyles said last year he was going to break 3 world records. Right? Everybody in Jamaica said, how he can be saying that kind of thing and so on. Nobody in America batted an eyelid. Sherika Jackson came out on the other hand and said she was going after the world record in the 200. And the amount of condemnation and disgust with the Jamaican people went on with, right? A totally different reaction. You can't be putting the mic in their face at champs, and every single one of them said the same thing. I want to thank my coach, I want to thank God, I want to do. They're all boring.
Not Shelley and Fraser Price though. That don't goes for Shelley and Fraser Price. Now you saying Bolt. Me not agree with him, Bolt. You saying no, sir. You saying not boring? None at all. Shelley and Fraser Price can represent ourselves very, very, very well. The one I'm sorry for the one when you're alien. Lord of God. She can't wear some ghetto style here, some ghetto hairstyle lacy man. Some falls here there. And she can't talk to save her life. But Steve Francis talk up something sometime. Like when him got it Tokyo Olympics. Remember the Tokyo Olympics? And everything was so disorganized. The man make international news, because of what he say,
This is the worst world championships I've seen, organization. But it's not the fault of the Japanese. I think they do whatever. But they have been allowed to do all this by World Athletics, who increasingly seems that or forgets that the athletes are the show and they should really make things comfortable for the athletes. Many, a lot. That 15 minutes.
A lot of athletes have spoken specifically about the warm-up track.
There is
the distance.
There is even the fact that they had to wait 9 and 10 hours to check into the hotels. From here, it was all bad.
Me say the man opened his mouth and created a firestorm. I saw him turn. He no care. Steve Francis no care. And we get the impression, say, because of his no-nonsense approach, he's always having problems with athletes, you know. But it's not only that alone. There's some money thing involved to like the athlete then you can then get the money where they forget or then can't. Steve Francis said they can't count. That's why they always have bex over money. And Elaine. Whoa, it was an earth tremor when we heard say Elaine Thompson-Herah, who Steve Francis take from nothing and made into the fastest. When we hear say she gone left Stephen, everybody shocked. And at first she did that night, you know. And then confirmation came, say, true, she left Stephen for true. No, sir, that one was a shocker.
Two-time double Olympic sprint champion Elaine Thompson-Herah was a no-show as the UTEC-based MVP track club began training for the new season on Tuesday morning. Last month, the Jamaican media reported that the five-time Olympic gold medalist had sent a letter to the club advising them of her decision to continue her career elsewhere. Thompson-Herah subsequently denied those reports, dismissing them as media-driven rumor-mongering. But on Monday evening, hours after she had been conferred with the Order of Distinction Commander class at the annual Heroes Day award ceremony, Thompson-Herah's team released a statement advising that she was training on her own. She said this: "In light of an abundance of requests from my fans and concerned Jamaicans, I want to assure everyone that I have begun my training independently and will continue to do so while I finalize all aspects of my team for the upcoming season. I want to thank everyone for their support and express appreciation to those who have reached out in concern. I remain committed to representing my country and to lead with courage and grace, as I'm aware that I inspire young women across the world who have dreams and who dare to see those dreams come to pass." Nationwide News Network, the Jamaican radio station that first reported that Thompson-Herah had confirmed her departure from MVP, later reported that the superstar sprinter trained at the Mico University College, guided by her husband, Darren Herah, and 1983 World 400-meter champion, Bertrand Cameron. On Tuesday morning, the Sportsmax team visited the University of Technology campus, the former training base of Thompson-Herah. The likes of Sherika Jackson, Tajay Gale, Stephanie Ann McPherson, and Geneva Russell were all at training. Here's the head coach, Stephen Francis, reacting to Elaine's departure.
I can confirm that she's not here. And if she's not here, then I think it is reasonable to assume that she will never be.
Okay. Are you concerned, though, about this appearance or consistency at which, athletes seem to leave the club? You mentioned, of course, that when they get to a certain level, they certainly start to listen to other people. 2019, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price left right after the World Championships. Of course, Elaine Thompson-Herah now. Are you concerned at all about the perception of the club now publicly, or doesn't that matter to you any at all?
Well, there are a number of issues you made in that statement. There was at least one inaccuracy. Shelly-Ann did not leave right after the World Championships. She left in May during the pandemic, and I think I can't. It always amuses me why people think that a sports person or athlete is going to be the one team forever. Those of you who follow football or basketball or whatever, people change all the while. Either the teams fire them or they leave in search of what they think are greener pastures. And I assume that the same thing is going to happen here. I mean, we have had well over 20 individuals who have had medals, and the reason why we have had so much is that people vacate in search of what they think is greener pastures, and other people come forward. And I think the same will happen here. We have a number of very, very promising athletes who I think in a year, next year and the year after, And the year after that, we'll do extremely well. And so we don't really have to worry about who was here or whatever. We just focus on who is here.
There's an idea that has been circulating. We have had no confirmation of it, but I'll ask it nonetheless. That there is a breakdown of the relationship between Elaine and the club over finances. Can you speak to that any at all?
Over finances, I have no idea about that. What I do know, again, is that a lot of athletes seem to not remember basic math. Right? Some people say that, but they always learn at 100% of 0 is 0. Right? And you know, if I have no idea whether she made whatever decision she's made from a financial perspective, but whatever. When you're not, then your time is going to be short, and you know, athletes tend not to grasp the fact that they always have to be concerned about maintaining their performances, no matter how well they've done, because whatever performance. I will say in summary that most athletes, from what I've heard, who make changes, do it because of finances. Messi left Barcelona because of finances. Ronaldo left Juventus because of finances. Everybody, athletes in general, try to maximize earnings. Many times they are unsuccessful. And I would not be surprised if this is the case here.
And of course, you know, there is always going to be speculation as to the reason why she decided to pack it in with Stephen. I mean, I tell her, say, she start training with her husband, and Lord of God, she start flop. You know, see the magician that Stephen is? From she left Stephen, she flop. You better stay with see, but probably she could have stayed still because according to Oral Tracy, that's some money thing.
Here, what me understand is the problem though. And this is new information, you know, from my impeccable sources, you know. See, as me said, this is what me never want to talk. I make nobody hear, but me gonna share it to you know. What me understand happen, what obtains that MVP is that the athletes, most of these athletes coming at MVP as unknowns, you know, as basic unknowns and people who have potential, but when they come there, they are not stars, so they're not earning any money. Say, from 10 see the diamond in the rough now and kind of mold them and work on them and bring them through the system and produce the many Olympic champions and world champions that you've seen him produce at MVP. But the business part of it now, as it relates to these athletes now, what me understand is what is happening, the arrangement is, and it's not part of the problem that the arrangement is not formal and pre-agreed to, is that when the athletes them boss and start make money now, people like Elaine now, see, when they boss and start make money, apparently the MVP, they have this kind of accounting system where they go back to when the athletes just arrived in the club, and apparently they keep notes of all the money where they spend on the athlete them from zero. See, and when the athletes start making the big bucks now, apparently this balance sheet is now presented to the athletes them. Sometimes they make them feel they make this big money, and when them MVP show them the balance sheet, sometimes them owe MVP money. yes, yeah. And that the era going up there. All along, I was here thinking that, like with Elaine now, it was all about her just defending her Olympic sprint double titles, and therefore she's set now to make more money going forward. So therefore she probably never want to share the money there with the percentage thing where MVP get out her money. So she'll share that with she and her family, etc. Because her husband knows her part of her coaching staff and all them something. But yes, but that is in and of itself is indeed correct, you know. But additionally now, the additional specific now is that they're being served with some retroactive bills. I remember now, you know, you have to look at it on the MVP side, you know. When you have to treat injuries and train an athlete and nutrition and all of them things, if you're an athlete for 4 or 5 years before them come to the field for, you know, a whole heap of money that, you know. Yeah, and multiply that by 10, 15, 20, whatever numbers are there. You understand me? So their method of recouping the money now is that when the athletes break out and start earning money now, they present them with the balance sheet and say, see there, the whole of me just, maybe you see that they present them with the balance sheet, itemizing all of the money where they spent on them over the years. And say, when we work the balance now and do the maths, yeah, it's like you still owe some money. So me say the athletes them over the years, anytime they're hit with that reality, that is where you get the backlash, so to speak, and the athletes them, yeah, lift up. so, who you blaming in that regard now? Do you blame the athletes? See, have a problem if them come up front. I can't remember now, you know. In a them period when the athletes them knew, see, they're pretty much desperate to make it. See, so if you present them with a contract with all of that written in, say, yo, whenever you become prominent, if and when you become prominent and become a money spinner, we will have to recoup all we spent on you. If you put that in on the fine print and put it on the contract, you know, even if they read it, because they're so desperate at the time, I think they would have still signed it. See, but apparently now, when it gets snuck up on the athletes like a thief in the night, now, the resentment is there on them. Say, no, man, no. You understand me? But the question is now, will it be now when we zooming in and now preparing Sherrick and now to try and tackle Elaine and Shelley? That is how Frano operate from a coaching perspective, and obviously from an egotistical perspective. Frano, we want to prepare Sherrick and now to beat Shelley and Elaine. See, we don't know if it will work. See, but Sherrick is basically next in line. And also, Frano has this knack of producing, unearthing diamonds from the rough. Eh? You just pluck somebody out of obscurity, and in no time you see them become big world beaters and superstars. Eh? No, but if this cycle will continue, where every time they get to a point to maximize earnings, the athlete then will pick up them marbles and run. Then MVP, something we have to give. Eh? Frano is not known to give and to compromise and to make them kind of deals, you know. But if this thing continue, the MVP will eventually go under. Because it's a money-making business. I'm not market. They have other streams of income, you know, because they are paid by shoe companies and all of them stuff, you know. So there are other streams of income. But I think the investment in the young athletes to bring them to the fore, see, is a big part of their revenue stream. That part of the revenue stream will continue to get interrupted by instances as happened with Shelley now, as is happening now with Elaine. Then MVP, we have to change something.
I pray to God, say Stephen Francis get better and come out of the hospital soon. God no. Jamaica cannot afford for Stephen Francis sick. Right now, some athlete if you are trained under him, now get the training under him. Other people if you are train him. I want to know, say, him really, him. So, boy, but it just goes to show us that anyone we can get sick, because now for we out here, you know, we just talk about we business, you know, we feel invincible, you know, we feel like, say, boy, you know, and when the sickness liquid now, we say, Lord Jesus, but me could I really get sick? I really mean this something too? Boy, me I tell you. But all the best, Steve Francis. Get well soon.